Right, getting our hands dirty. All right, guys, welcome to the GGW where we talk wrestling, whether you want to hear it or not. All right, cool. So we have a couple topics. We're gonna give each of our guests. Would you guys be guests or
Correspondence?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
Esteemed correspondence.
Let's try that again. Cut that off.
Yeah.
Each of our correspondents are going to have 2 minutes to give their original statements and 2 minutes to rebuttal each other's original statements. All right, so our first topic is going to be on the subject of Bianca Belair. Is she currently the biggest wrestling star for women?
You want to do fist bump? Let's
Fist
start
bump
this
it.
out
Let's keep
right.
it
Let's
clean,
do
guys.
this. All right,
Keep it clean.
I would say more specifically, is she the biggest star currently in the WWE right now? Mm-hmm. Let me be very clear when I'm saying this, very clear. The fact that Roman Reigns is basically a part-time star, the fact that Cody Rhodes is injured, the fact that Naomi and Sasha Banks left like the queens that they are, and the fact that Austin Theory, Vince McMahon's favorite, doesn't even garner half the reaction that Bianca Belair does. I would say that currently she is not only the biggest female star in WWE, but the biggest star in WWE hands down, because she has the hardest job in all of the company, which is to keep the women's division afloat. And she has done that not only masterfully, she's done it with grace, and she's done it cutting great promos, and she's done it having great matches.
Okay.
So when you look out in the crowd, you see the kids, Bianca Belair t-shirts, Bianca Belair weaves. Also, how does that weave not fall out? That's a different story for another day, but
Magic.
it's amazing. And so I say, given all of those things, there's no doubt to me that she is currently not only the biggest female star in WWE, but the biggest star in WWE right now as things stand.
Okay. All right, Corey, we're going to go to your original. Is she the biggest female star, or is she just the biggest star in WWE?
Oh. I'd like to thank you guys for making me a part of this. This seems like a fun thing for us to do. We're talking about how the WWE is portraying people and how those stars are going to make it through in the day. Now, if we want to see who's shining brightest and who is the biggest star, Bianca Belair definitely has an argument to be made. She has done very well for herself in a very short amount of time. She's got a tremendous upside to her future endeavors. However, if we're talking biggest star in all the WWE, that's Almost. He is like 7'8". He has a wingspan of at least 7 feet. He has been just dominating people. Aside from Bobby Lashley, who is the almighty, Almost is towering over everybody, including Bianca Belair's hair.
He still has a minute.
I just need us all to recognize that in the land of giants, Vince McMahon's world of giants, that Almost is the one standing there. And a second might be Otis. He's got a lot of size on him. He's got a great build to him.
All right. All right. So now it's time for your rebuttal. Okay. I would just like to add my 2 cents. I will say, if we're talking physically, no, she's not the biggest. If we're talking a literal sense, which I feel like that's maybe where you were leaning on that. But if we're talking in the sense of who gets the biggest pop and who are the people responding to, I would definitely agree with you, because as somebody who is fairly new to wrestling, she is someone who has actually got me excited to watch wrestling, especially even like female wrestling. She makes it very entertaining, and she looks great while she's doing it. Bianca, we love you. You're a queen. You deserve all your roses while you're still alive. But I will say, if we're talking just WWE, yes. But if we're talking like all wrestling, all elite wrestling, I do love DMD. But moving
That's
on. Rebuttal.
I actually want to take this time to thank you, because you are helping me prove my point. You say she's not the biggest because you brought in physically biggest, but all those men that you brought up, they get the reaction of midgets. 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 Cameraman. Midgets. They don't even garner half the response that she gets. So if we're going based upon crowd reaction, she's Andre the motherfucking Giant. That girl, way better response than Bobby Lashley, almost, and the audacity of you to bring up Otis? Otis. Otis. Otis.
He's a big boy.
The viewing audience forgot that Otis is even signed to WWE right now, and he dared to put Otis in the same category as Bianca Belair. And I will say this, since he was talking about physically, the girl damn near got a better physique than all of the motherfucking guys in WWE. I mean, have we seen her? She's a CrossFit athlete, and also, I don't think she's getting that from steroids. And I don't think we can say that about a lot of people in the WWE, if we're being honest. But that's just my humble 2 cents on it.
Oh, okay. You don't want to use your last 30 seconds? You said what you said. Okay.
I said what I said.
He said what he said. Okay, Corey, you ready for your rebuttal to his rebuttal?
Yeah, sure. Why
ahead.
not? We got some time here. He said what he said. We're bringing up people. We're bringing up crowd reactions. Now, in the land of the WWE, there is one tried and true trope that will get the crowd to react in a very big way. And even the smallest of statured people can make it. That's right, Hornswoggle, people. Hornswoggle getting all of them crowd reactions on all of those comedy bits. He is for a decade, he was Vince McMahon's only go-to for comedy. He was the only thing that Vince McMahon saw as like, yes, you are my shining star for something that I can shove down the people's throats. And he made milestones for people like even Wee Man to come out during WrestleMania, the biggest stage of them all, and get the biggest pop of a match for a match he wasn't even involved in. So sometimes if we're gonna say the stature isn't everything, then we got to also include those greats who have waddled before us. Okay, I'm done.
All right. We're going to do a rapid fire round. You have 20 seconds to say, I'm so sorry I spit all over your face.
No, it's fine.
So I'm going to give you 20 seconds to say your piece about this. Because you seem like you're squirming in your skin right now. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 20 seconds rapid fire, go.
I am utterly and abundantly appalled.
He's appalled.
At the unmitigated gall of you, Corey.
The goal.
You brought up Hornswoggle?
Yeah.
Cameraman, he brought up Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle. You know what Hornswoggle is in the WWE? Hornswoggle is a glorified punchline in the WWE. And to bring him up...
Rapid fire.
All right. I digress. Go ahead.
Any last comments on this particular topic?
He was Vince McMahon's only son. As far as he needs to go into storyline mode for a while. He's the only one that matters now and forever and then.
All right, guys, as I'm sure we're going to revisit this topic of Bianca Belair being the biggest star in the WWE, not just the biggest female wrestler in the WWE.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll revisit those very passionate arguments by both sides. So moving on to our next topic, what do you believe to be the best of the WWE greatest moments? Was it Undertaker being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Cody Rhodes' return at WrestleMania, Steve Austin stuns Vince and Austin Theory, and Pat McAfee? Yeah, I could not read the handwriting, sorry. And Big E cashes in Money in the Bank WWE champ, which wins which wins the SB for best WWE moment for
Which
you.
moment is worthy of the SB?
Yes. Which
Awesome.
moment is worthy? I should practice.
My esteemed colleague, would you mind if I took the first one on this?
Yeah, sure, by all means.
Yes, thank you so much. Let me be very clear when I say this. Very clear. Adrenaline in my soul. The best WWE moment was the return of Cody Rhodes. I'm going to tell y'all why. Cody Rhodes left WWE about 5 years ago or so, give or take. Not only did he leave WWE, most people leave and they'll go flounder in Impact. Most people leave and they'll go flounder on the indie scene. No, but this young man, Cody Rhodes, no, he left WWE and he went and created a rival company, a company that could rival WWE in popularity and interest in merchandising sales. Cody Rhodes, along with his cohorts, single-handedly changed the economic system in wrestling, made it as to where people were getting paid a little bit more money than they were when it was just one big dog in town. Now,
Naomi,
you want to say Cody Rhodes' impact wasn't that great? You want to say it was maybe conflated? Maybe I'm overrating Cody Rhodes a little much. If that's what you want to say, that would be fine. But then I would say this. Never before in this modern era of WWE has a man left WWE, created a persona for themselves, and came back to WWE with that persona. Cody Rhodes came back to WWE as he was not the Cody Rhodes with the gimmicks that they gave him previously. No, he came to WWE as the American Nightmare. Not only came there as the American Nightmare, he garnered one of the biggest pops in WrestleMania history. Not just modern time, but in WrestleMania history. So for me, the interest that was generated when Cody Rhodes was at WrestleMania in his AEW attire, no less, I say that has to be the biggest moment in WWE, and that is worthy of the ESPY.
all right. Corey?
Well, these all seem to be quite fine moments. Well, we have a triumphant hero's return for young Cody Rhodes. Gets to come up through the bottom of the stage.
It's a Cody Vader call. It's called a Cody Vader. Have respect for him.
He's got a Cody Vader even in WWE. We had Big E climbing the ladder, grabbing the briefcase, sealing a moment that very few black men have been able to achieve. It's kind of a bigger cultural movement, I would assume. Bang for your buck, that Austin Vince segment with Pat McAfee had all of the aspects of sports entertainment that you could want. It had the good. You got Pat McAfee going backwards, shooting the beer out from a stunner. You got the bad. You got Vince McMahon missing 2.5 stunners. And you've got Austin just trying to make it through for everybody. But if you wanted to get down to the greatest moments, and a moment that you can literally sit in for over an hour, you have The Undertaker being inducted into the Hall of Fame ceremony. A moment in which no one spoke for 20 fucking minutes. That is the most moment that you will ever get in a WWE style ring, and I assume that has to be the greatest moment that Vince McMahon has ever achieved.
All right. All right, so rebuttals. Are your rebuttals? Is your rebuttal prepared?
Oh, yes.
Alrighty.
My rebuttal is prepared.
And fire off.
I want to touch on something that you said. You said Big E, who is a black wrestler, he conquered that Money in the Bank briefcase and he won the WWE Championship. However, speaking as a black man such as Big E, anytime something good happens for black men in WWE, you know what I do, miss?
What do you
I
do?
caution myself. You know why I caution myself, Corey? Because WWE has been known has been known to metaphorically fuck black men anytime it looks like they are ascending to the top. So I never really get too excited about that because I think to myself that eventually it'll fizzle out, because at the end of the day, I'm going to just call a spade a spade. Vince McMahon is, what's the word? Racist. Yes, he's racist, and so therefore I tend not to get excited when good things happen for my people in WWE. I'm happy that good things happen for them, but I tend not to get too excited because I know that he won't let them necessarily carry the company. A blackface won't necessarily carry the company in WWE. So that's why I didn't choose Big E's moment as the biggest in WWE history. Now, from an economic standpoint, I think Cody Rhodes is the biggest moment, because it's the thing that I left out in my first take, is that Cody Rhodes, he broke a merchandise record. Yeah, I'm glad you did. He broke a merchandise record. His first night at WrestleMania, his t-shirt sold out. Guess what, cameraman? When you go on WWEshop.com, you won't be able to get a Cody Rhodes t-shirt. You know why? Because they're sold out. Why are they sold out? Because he was the biggest star in WWE when he was active. Currently, he is injured. So right now it's Bianca Belair. Yeah, I remember my previous point. But when he wasn't on the shelf, he was the biggest. So therefore, I would say the Cody Rhodes moment was the biggest, just in terms of a moment, but also for the economics of WWE, because at the end of the day, the company is ran by an evil white man, and guess what the bottom line is? The bottom line is to make money, and guess what? Cody Rhodes made a hell of a lot of money for the company on that night in WrestleMania, and the fans are extremely captivated by him and await his return patiently. I being one of them myself, and that is my point. Amen.
All right. Amen. Okay. Corey, your rebuttal?
See, if we had Cody Rhodes coming out and debuting with that purple shoulder, that'd be the greatest moment for him. That was way better than him coming out for WrestleMania. I will say that it was spectacular to see him, but it was awe-inspiring to see a dude go out there with all, like 80% of the blood from his body inside of his bicep and titty. And that didn't leave an impression on me. But I mean, we might still be in the middle of the Undertaker's introduction into the Hall of Fame. It might still be going on. Vince McMahon has milked that dead man till he died 8 times. That dude will never, ever be topped in Vince McMahon's eyes. There's no way that they can give him an hour-long segment just with 30 minutes of silence and another hour of him rambling through stories that happened 2 decades ago.
Alrighty. All right, we're gonna do our rapid fire round really quickly. You have 20 seconds.
20 seconds. With all due respect to The Undertaker, I wouldn't say him retiring is the biggest moment, because when you stick around so long and when you false retire so many times, it kind of loses its luster a bit. You know, it loses its luster when you do such a thing. If I said I was going to give you this water 10 times and I never do it, you're not really going to give a fuck about it. And that was pretty much The Undertaker's retirement. So therefore, I don't think it's the biggest moment in WWE, because honestly, I think it's a pump fake. I think he's going to come back again.
All right. And that's 20 seconds.
I just want a quick shout out to Vince McMahon doing the worst sell of a stunner that ever happened in WrestleMania for that Austin ceremony.
That is fair.
That's all I want for my time.
All right, so that is our time for today, and that is just a quick little, that's a wrap on our quick little viewpoints for this Goodest Group Wrestling segment. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll do better.
Yeah.
I'll do better. All right, just pump it out. Thank you guys for keeping it clean and exciting.
Yes.
And we're out.
Good.